Man, being grounded sucks. At least there's no worse way to spend my time. What the fuck? Ah yes, Grounded 2, the long-awaited sequel. Well, more like a Grounded remake, so the long-awaited remake. Warning, I'm kind of mad because my PC couldn't run Grounded at 60 FPS and I'm a big glazer of Grounded, or literally any games that I like to be honest. So most of my opinions here are probably a bit biased. I mean, I don't know why I expected to run Grounded 2 while having a 3rd gen i7, so yeah. Also, the current version is 0.1.2, so yeah. So far, what I've played of this game has satisfied me, apart from a few things, but they're minor, so they don't impact much on the game. Like having to hold a key to deposit a stack. Why? It was so much faster to just click and then deposit the whole stack. To start things simple, Grounded's canon ending was apparently the good ending, where Dr. Wendell managed to revert himself back to his human form, and Director Schmechter got arrested. Now, 2 years later, they got shrunk back again after an explosion occurred at the Brook Hollow Park, the new map. Then Dr. Wendell apparently assassinated Burgle for whatever reason, and disappeared with the kids. And Burgle said. Then we wake up in a lab, and from there, the game starts. I'll talk more about the lore later in the video. For now, let's talk about the gameplay itself. Disclaimer, if you see my inventory and the themes changing a lot, it means that I'm showing a different footage, since in my Rogue Hoops run, in one of the most lore important parts, the entire video corrupted, so I had to do it all again, in a different run. Anyways, the good! The UI. God, the UI, I loved it! The new bars, the quick crafting thing, the new style, hell, even the UI when you press tab looks so cool. Not that practical though. Or maybe it is, maybe I just didn't get used to it. Finally, they let us see what mutations we can unlock and what the progress looks like on it. And they also let us manage the milk molars without needing to go to an outpost. Finally! And for those wondering, the P part still exists. It functions and looks relatively the same. Also, look at this new map. The map is huge, and it will be even bigger from what I've seen, like in this image. The Omni Tools. We don't need to reserve a slot in our hotbar for a hammer, an axe, a shovel, or a wrench anymore, as the Omni Tool is a passive tool that we have. It's all 4 tools combined. You can upgrade them in the Ranger Station, unlocking new tiers for each tool respectively. Each tier will cost a few materials, as well as raw science. Since the Omni Tool is a passive tool, or whatever someone will call it, you don't need to really equip it. Go next to a grass blade and hold E, then you're chopping down the grass blade. Go next to a pebble and hold E again, and then you're absolutely destroying the pebble. The shovel and the wrench work the same way. Kinda sad that we can animation cancel now to make this faster, but to compensate for this, they've made it so the animations themselves are faster, including the shovel one. However, this means that using an axe or a hammer for battle is no more. So rip for the 3 axe enthusiasts and the 1 hammer enthusiast. I mean, you can still use them, as they deal damage if you land a hit, and the 1 hammer enthusiast also gets a lot of new battle hammers to use. But, as always, I want to feel like I'm right, so disregard that. You can also personalize them apparently. When I did it, it just put on a skin, no noticeable stat boosts. The resource analyzer has 4 charges now instead of 3. That is actually useful since 4 is such a convenient number. I even keep forgetting that it's 4 now, and now it's just analyze 3 items and then div. Dashing! Woohoo! Let's go! Dashing! Woo! Woo! Dashing! Never mind. I thought it was gonna be cooler. Dashing is a new way to not get hit by the bugs in this game, since when you dash, you get invincibility frames. Even though I prefer to parry, it's a really good mechanic in case you don't know the bug's attack patterns. Not in my case though, as I've not hit a cockroach by accident. Haha. Definitely. But when used, it's a bit buggy, as most times I got hit by the Mantis Nymph or the Northern Scorpion while dashing. Might have been a skill issue though. It's also a really good source of traveling around the early game if you manage to hit the timing. Most armor sets got revamped, as in better armor sets. So this means that the Acorn armor finally lost its useless raid aggro thing that you had per piece. Instead, it now gives you extra health per piece. Thank God! Each clover armor part also makes you use less stamina when you dash. The armor set is still the same though. And also new armor, most notably the Orb Weaver armor and the Wolf Spider armor. Finally, the spider parts have a use. Or what about the Scorpion armor that lets you deal more damage to poison enemies? That armor is so OP. New bugs too, like the Caterpillar, a passive bug that can apparently turn into a butterfly. Speaking of which, the butterfly, they fight similarly to the moth, still easy. There's also cockroaches. At the time of recording, I thought they were hostile, hence why I didn't just go up to it, but they're actually neutral. They hide, they chill, they homies. But if you decide to attack it, apparently they have a chance to revive it out its head. They also have kids, the cockroach nymphs. which are just cockroaches but with less damage and no less phase. There's also snails. When you hurt them or get too close to them, they'll go into their shell and then you won't be able to attack it normally. I had to stun one and then kill it. There's also the northern scorpions that honestly are just grounded 1's wolf spiders without the attack pattern, since the wolf spider got boosted up to a tier 3 enemy. Most bugs that existed in grounded 1 got a remake to their model too, either adding small intricate details or completely changing them. Like the Zin wolf spider looks so cool, while the ladybug looks relatively the same if you just look at it for a few seconds and then forget about it. Taming bugs is extremely useful. I even go as far to say it's better to ride a red soldier ant than to build a zipline network. Actually, never mind. Maybe? Well, it is quite annoying when you are just running around for a bug and then you hit a minuscule pile of dirt only to kill your entire momentum, making you have to move around it. There's also a new class too, the rogue class. It seems like they're focusing a lot on it, and for good reason, as so far it is really cool and fun to play as well. The rogue class consists of dealing massive damage with stealth attacks or attacking fast and dealing a lot of debuffs. Stunning seems to be actually useful now as it occurs more frequently and I get way more crits out of bug stun. Bugs can defend now. Look at this Goofy trying to defend my hits. Dumbass! They apparently take no damage while defending, but you can break their guard by doing a charge attack or by dealing enough damage, I guess. Speaking of which, charge attacks are actually good for once. I use them more in Grounded 2 than in Grounded 1 at least. You can actually hold them now instead of just letting go when they're finished charging up. They also do a little cool effect when they're ready. They're really useful for stealth attacks too, where you deal more damage and more stun if you sneak up on a bug and then attack it. Also, rogue weapons have a dash attack instead of a normal charge attack, where you dash and then attack. Okay, so like, skip this part if you don't want to know what the final boss is like.
Machines, you might make everyone happy, but you're dead inside just like me.
This final boss, the Masked Stranger, it's really fun to find what I presume is a her. I don't really give a fuck though. Anyways, her attacks are cool and she also uses the Spicy Cold Tana. The thing in her lets us find Burgle's head and also unlocks the Spicy Cold Tana's recipe too. I haven't used it yet. I can't say it's easy to fight her, but I only lost to her once because my weapon broke right when fighting Bandit, her wolf spider pet. Then my grounded ones things were already on and I forgot completely I could just solve the wolf spider by dashing and punching. The design of the Masked Stranger armor looks so dope as well. I can't really tell from which bug that's supposed to be. Her attacks are cool but really far off from what we were able to do with the Spicy Cold Tana in the first game. But then again, she did modify a lot of weapons to make them stronger, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was a modified Spicy Cold Tana. The bag! Again, most things that were just a single click to do, like crafting many or storing a stack, are now a hold button to do. That's annoying, really annoying. There's this mechanic that instantly dispels your pet upon trying to enter an area that it cannot enter. That's really annoying since you can do it by accident and then have to walk all the way back, like a whole meter or something like that. No, it's like 10 meters. Yeah, like a whole 10 meters. Okay, I actually discovered that I can just call my pets again, but I still have to wait like 30 seconds or so that's still annoying. Fighting on top of your pet feels underwhelming due to the damage, while fighting alongside your pet is not as cool as expected, but still, that's more of a complaint rather than a bad thing. I didn't really want to talk about this, but optimization might be an issue. I've been able to run Grounded pretty well on medium quality with render scale on max and resolution at 180p. I'm, despite what I said earlier, actually surprised that it didn't run at 60 FPS. But then again, it might just be because the game's at an early stage, or just my PC, who knows. When I play, I like to do quick menu moves like opening the map for a split second while running to check where the thing that I was heading to is. However, that is quite difficult since when you open the map, this text box appears and it covers up a good part of the things that are close to me. There's also no radio for switching mutations, but I suppose they will add it sometime in the future. What exactly are considered interest points? For example, the ice cream cart is not an interest point. Fair enough, since it can be seen by just opening the map. However, the empty terrarium is considered an interest point, even though you can see on the map. I'm just complaining about this because to unlock the Natural Explorer, you need to discover 20 interest points in the map. And you know, Natural Explorer gives you speed, and I like speed. Why are roach heads so difficult to get? Rare drop like ever, but damn, Out of all cockroaches I've killed, only the cockroach queens dropped roach head. I might just be unlucky, but damn, are you sure they can even drop from normal cockroaches, Obsidian? Sometimes when you fall from a high distance with your buggy, you instantly die from fall damage. That mostly happened when I had FPS spikes though, so I'm willing to ignore it for now.
Let's see.
So there we are, inside the initiation program, where we get the new and improved Scabby, or Scabby 2K. Proceeding, we learn more about what Omninet wants here, secretly developing some stuff, but there's no main goal as far as I know. Advancing a bit, we discover that Burgle is being held hostage by someone. So then, after going through the rest, we are released in the wild. Sloan tells us to go get the Omni tool in the nearby outpost. After doing some grounded stuff, we find the outpost. In there, after picking up the Omni tool, we can hear ringing from another room. From that, I still don't. However, it is locked, so you gotta find a way around it. Once we do, we pick up the phone. Sloan was calling. She expresses how she's glad that we were alive, and she keeps blabbering about how killing teenagers is not Omninet stuff, and that she was worried about how we were and whatever more useless stuff.
If I had friends, I bet they'd tease me over that.
No, don't have friends!
Run on as part of their performance.
According to her, Omninet got attacked by someone that swarmed all of their labs. The evacuation protocol was not successful, so it resulted in a lot of deaths, meaning that even if indirectly, that person killed a lot of people. She then asked us to help her find the perpetrator, which is a girl according to Sloan, and in return, she'll help us find Burgle. Upon agreeing, she'll send us some coordinates of a place that might have some clues on the whereabouts of the perpetrator. Going to where she told us to go, we find an optical disc, basically Burgle's chips from Grounded 1. There's also a body there. You can loot it to reveal a bit more of this specific employee inside Omninet through a tape. She expresses how all of her work in the taming program is being stolen from her, so she's going to hide her shit. As you can tell, she hid it so well that she died. Going back to the outpost and answering Sloan again, she notices how we recovered data from her domestication program, aka the taming program. She then tells us to visit the place where the taming program was being tested at, inside an anthill. If you keep talking with her, you can discover some more interesting stuff. Asking about the park program, she mentions how the park is so good for the community, and then she finally speaks up about the miniaturization research here, which is their main goal. Asking if we can get out of here, she mentions how there is a rescue operation being planned, but the space art seems to be sabotaged. And then she says once again how she's so happy that we are not dead. Like, damn, shut up, you are so fake. She also recognizes how Omninet is not cool at all, but according to her,
But as long as I am someone in charge, we're at least neutral.
sure bruh. Mentioning how a majority of her employees are good eggs. She also mentioned how they want to shrink a car to make things easier, but due to some nerd complications they couldn't. So that's why they created the domestication program. Hanging up, we are tested by the hatchery station and the ranger station. Taming bugs is going to be a major way of moving around the park. After doing all the taming stuff that seems to be useless to the lore, someone hacks into our Scabby 2K, presumably the perpetrator. She mentions how she won't let us get too comfortable around here, essentially declaring war. Little does she know I'm a grounded vagrant. After that, we contact an adult, aka Sloan, about the death threats. She confirms the one who contacted us is the perpetrator. Omninet already knew about the attack, so they tried to make some defenses by stealing our defenses that we made in Grounded 1! Talking about how imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Man, shut up! Anyways, according to her, the perpetrator also saw most of Omninet works and hid in some places they could not find. Asking about the perpetrator, she mentions how it could be a rival tech company trying to sabotage their latest breakthroughs. She's also using the Orc tech, aka Omninet remote control, to control the bugs so they can fight against this. Asking about what happened in the ceremony, she mentions how it shouldn't have happened as the alertness levels were under 0.05, but then Dr. Tully freaked out during his speech, beheaded Burgle, then the explosion happened and everyone scattered. Going where Sloan told us to go, we find the place where the perpetrator hid one of Omnit's works, being guarded by a Norton Scorpion Jr. After defeating it, we grab the optical disc and find a message to Omninet. She tells Omninet about how they finally domesticated the soldier ant and how this was all useless for her, mocking them even more for playing pretend. Then she also mentions something interesting, but not as sad as selling your soul to the highest bidder. What could that mean? Then she contacts us again, talking about how she underestimated us, how Omninet was easy to run through, but Us? She doesn't know if we're less weak. She then talks about how she'll send us a test, presumably an attack. Return the optical disc, Slane calls us again, talking about how, according to her suspicions, the perpetrator was going to attack us. Asking for help, she basically tells us to man up and that we have all we need in that optical disc. Weird coming from someone whose whole motto is about not killing teenagers. After dealing with an easy as attack, the perpetrator contacts us again, telling us about how she can attack us whenever she wants. Talking with Sloane, she mentions how we might be able to calm her down, or even defeat her. She also talks about smart people, how convincing them to do things is quite difficult due to their outrageous ego, comparing it to high school and applying that to the taming program, while there was a lot of infighting due to it. She then mentions that using a backdoor on our Scabby 2K was not the brightest idea, as we can track her now, and to cripple her army we can use the mixers. She then tells us to find the transmitters to get even more info about her. She then talks about the resource finder, yet another stolen idea from Dr. Tully. We are now tasked with hacking the orc transmitters. So we do that. Taking out the first transmitter, we are tasked with finding her soldiers. Upon finding them, the perpetrator contacts us once again, clearly mad.
Hey, I can see you sneaking around, so here's a friendly warning. Do not mess with my soldiers, and do not touch my stuff. Stashing those milk molars for a reason.
Hacking the last transmitter and killing the last soldiers, she tells us to stop and stay away from her guards, staggering the process.
Whoa, hey, stop right there! Those berries are mine! Mine! Do you get that? And stay the hell away from my soldiers. They're on guard duty. I asked you not to do that! What is wrong with you?
What is wrong with you? That can blow out the Scabby 2K speaker! Are you okay? Ma'am, please, release Burgle's head. It's not too late to make amends.
If you want your friend's head, come try to take it from me. Those freaks at Ominent built their network center inside the statue of Wendell and Burgle. You better toughen up before coming here. You won't even survive the first floor. Take your time. I'll be here, waiting for you.
She knows what we're capable of now. She's desperate now, anyone can tell that. One last step to potentially discovering who she is. All we gotta do now is infiltrate the network center that was taken over by her. The network center is like a dungeon, 5 floors with the last one being the final boss, her.
Welcome to the network center, you little larva. I've got your friend the robot head up in Beaumont's penthouse. Come and get him, if you can. So you finally made it up here. I'm warning you. When you open that door, your final challenge begins. Be ready. I won't hold back.
Alright, I'll be honest with y'all, the dungeon was extremely easy. Granted, I was playing on medium, but still, I could probably just run through all of them except the 3rd floor, which were required to kill a mini-boss. After finishing the dungeon, we find her, the Masked Ranger.
Hello again. In the yard. You were warriors. That's who I want to see. Your true selves.
She wields a spicy katana and her armor is something that I cannot identify. The way she speaks to us, with that trembling voice, she's unsure of the outcome of this fight. In her first phase, she just attacks and blocks, nothing out of the usual. If you get hit, her attacks will do ceiling damage due to her spicy katana. After taking out about 12 bars of HP, she will regenerate her health completely and gain new attacks. Most notably, an area of effect attack, where she will charge it up and explode. She'll also drop her old attacks and go for much faster spinning attacks instead. When she reaches half health, she'll go out of combat and summon her trusty orc wolf spider called Bandit. Nothing changed about it though. After defeating Bandit, a new cutscene starts.
So, you're not totally weak. I won't go that easy on you again. You can have Burgle's head. I got what I needed. I gotta go. Dr. Wendell Tully is waiting for me.
She just ran away like a coward. Though, she mentioned that Dr. Tully was waiting for her. Does that mean they're friends? Or Dr. Tully is somehow being controlled? You can also craft the spicy container now. Upon talking with Virgo, he tells us to help him because he loves us. Selene calls us, happy that we're alive, and we tell her what happened. However, she never mentioned that the Master Ranger was a teenager. But then she just brushes it off with a joke. The woman who kept preaching about not killing teenagers hoped that we killed the Master Ranger, a teenager. After a bit more of yapping, she decides to help us wreck Virgo's spare parts and stop the attacks coming from the Master Ranger. She then unlocks the door to her office balcony so we can leave, and that's all. As of Grounded 0.1.2, that's all of the lore stuff we can do. I'm not gonna do any theory work as I'm not too deep into the lore myself, but that should be a hopefully quick introduction to what we can do lore wise so far. And that's the end of the video. I loved almost every second that I spent on Grounded 2, with a few exceptions. I consider it was worth to beg my friend for him to give me his Game Pass account so I could play Grounded 2. I would definitely be buying it on Steam once I have enough money. Well, so should you play Grounded 2? Short answer, yes. Long answer, rewatch the video. Cool answer, I'll go back to Grounded 1 because I cannot fathom playing at 30 FPS anymore.